So a little while back, I actually made a video talking about like the ghost encounters with the graveyards. I think I called the video Grave Encounters or something like that. Or Cemetery Story. I forgot what I called it, but I did say that I was going to make another video talking about the other, I was gonna say extraterrestrial. I had one of those, but no, no, no. Uh, Paranormal. There we go. That's the word I'm looking for. And I figured for this video, since like all these other encounters weren't really anything worth a single video format, might as well just put it all together because this shit has really no story tied behind anything, unlike the cemetery story. So we're gonna go ahead and talk about it. I'm gonna start from the very beginning. I'm gonna recite everything that I've dealt with up to this point, excluding um, the sleep paralysis because that one is gonna get its own video. But some shit happened with that. The first one, anyways. So when I was younger, probably like 11 or 12, it's about the time where the Yu-Gi-Oh card game had just come out. It's middle school, I guess. Very popular. Everyone's like, oh my god, Blue Eyes and Dark Magician and Karibo and Summon Skull and Curse of Dragon and before the God cards. So we had like the Gate Guardians, Red Eyes Black Dragon, all that shit. Harpy's Pet Dragon, Harpy Lady, Time Wizard, Baby Dragon, all that great shit. Yu-Gi-Oh was fun. um, I remember I woke up in the middle of the night and I rolled over and there was this like little fucking ball of light in my room just like floating around like this. When I tell this story, the only thing that really pops in my head is you ever played Legend of Zelda and you remember like Navi or the little fairies that would just be like, "Hey, listen. Hey, listen." It looked like that. And I had really no reaction to it. I just rolled over and went back to bed. I was like, whatever. But I always remember that. It never scared me. I don't know what it was. Obviously, it's something paranormal because, I sleep in complete darkness. I don't sleep with the nightlights on. I sleep in pitch fucking black with a little bit of noise from a fan or an air purifier because I need some kind of noise. I can't sleep in dead silence. But yeah, it was some. It's a little white ball of light floating around. The next one was not too long after that, or maybe it was like eighth or ninth grade. So whenever I used to get grounded, my dad would take everything out of my room. I'd be punished, and when I mean everything, I mean everything. He would take my bed, he would take my posters off the wall, my shoes, like my dresser, everything. I wasn't allowed to have shit, but I was allowed to have Legos for some reason, so that's what I had were Legos. So I would just be playing with Legos on the ground. I guess he thought it was like a kid's toy, so he's like, take the joke's on you. I love Legos. But my mom came in my room and she asked me like, "Hey, do you want to go to the post office with me to drop this letter off in the mailbox, or like the blue postal box? I don't know what they're called." And I remember I told her no. And I do remember this was at nighttime. So after she left, I remember I just looked. I was like looking at the carpet, and there was something walking to me, where the carpet was pushing down as if there was like something walking, but I didn't see shit, and it scared the living fucking piss out of me. I got up and I fucking ran and I caught my mom in the driveway, and I was like, I want to go. And I think that was the end of that as well. Like these are in the same bedroom, different time periods. I grew up in this one house until I was like 16 or 17. It was on 20th Street in Paris, Texas. And I want to go back to Texas. I want to ask the new people that live there if they've seen anything. I think that'd be funny if I don't get shot because I know there are like some bums that live there. But I remember that scared the fuck out of me. And here's the thing: my mom and everyone else who was in the house used to have all kinds of like little things happen. My mom saw like an old woman sitting in her chair looking at her through like the reflection in glass when she was like in the kitchen eating food. My old stepdad would see like little children run by him. He'd be like that, but he was like native, so he saw all kinds of shit, whether it was real or not. I don't know, like smoking the peyote. Um, my aunt, not really my aunt, it's my sister's aunt, but I call her Aunt Lisa. But she came over and she kept saying like the lights were turning on and off on their own. I never dealt with that kind of shit, and I used to be a home alone in the house all the time. I dealt with just a very few couple things, but I think the main reason was because I was distracted watching all the seasons of Friends on DVD or Pirates of the Caribbean for like the 1 millionth fucking time because we weren't allowed to have cable and I wasn't allowed to get on the computer. So hey, I would just watch these fucking DVDs on fucking repeat. Funny enough, I actually hated Pirates for the longest time, but I actually think Pirates of the Caribbean is a pretty good franchise. Well, the first couple, anyways. So the next encounter was, I think it's whenever I was dating Sarah Rose or Pinky. So back when I was dating Pinky for a little while, I think well, okay, so like definitely the next thing that happened was the cemetery story, but I've already told that one. And I believe the very next thing that happened, if what I might be forgetting something, I don't think I am, but it's back when I was dating Pinky and we were asleep because she was living with me, very briefly, but whatever. But we were asleep and in the middle of the night she woke up screaming and this bitch got dragged out the fucking bed. I woke up, I was like, "What the fuck?" And I was ready to like fight and swing, but I didn't see anything. And she was like yelling and shit, but she wasn't like crying or anything. And she goes, "Yeah, this happens sometimes." I was like, "Bitch, no, I don't want to know about that. I don't like this shit. That's fucking creepy. I don't fuck with ghost, man. I don't like ghost." And there was another incident. I just can't. Not with Sarah though, but there was something else that happened, and for the life of me, I cannot remember what it was. Maybe I'm suppressing something. I don't think I am. I got bad memory, so I might have forgot it. If I ever think of, if I ever remember, we'll have a part three. But once we move out to California 4 years ago, this house is haunted. And I'm gonna tell you why. This room I sleep in is my old grandparents' bedroom. My grandpa committed suicide in this room about 5 years ago. He was dying from hepatitis and he wanted to go out on his own terms. Fucking mad respect, Nick. The closest thing to a role model I ever had because I didn't have anything growing up. I raised myself for the most part. I taught myself right and wrong. Didn't always follow, everything on the proper line, but it is what it is. Um, Nick was the closest thing I had that, and I always thought really highly of Nick. I thought Nick was like a complete badass, which he was. He was a biker. He was in a biker gang. He sailed. He went parasailing and parachuting. He did all kinds of cool shit, and he took himself out. Yeah, he committed suicide in this bedroom that I sleep in now. And for a while, our bed. So whenever my kid's mom was living here, she would see shit all the fucking time. But Ashley was just like very like, whatever. If I ignore it, pretend it doesn't exist, it doesn't exist. I can't. I personally can't fucking do that. But hey, hey, it's whatever. Um, I always tell her like, I don't want to know about it. Be quiet. Hey, shut up. She'd be walking around the kitchen in the middle of the night because she was wanting to walk, get her steps in, but she never wanted to walk around the neighborhood because she was afraid because she's like a woman. Even though we live in a really nice neighborhood, so it's like, what are you afraid of? You afraid of like somebody walking around with a dog or something? I don't know. But she'd walk around through the kitchen and she saw like what I didn't see this, but this is just what she said. She saw what looked like a homeless man crawling on the ground and she shook her head and it was gone. And she was just like, I'm gonna keep walking. And we'd be laying in bed and it felt like the bed was shaking and I was just like, earthquake. But I found out it wasn't an earthquake because we'd start hanging shit up on the walls in the bedroom and nothing else would shake and I would just be like, oh my god, Nick, stop it, please, don't do it. And the bed quit shaking once I removed the bed frame, which I know somebody like I think it was my brother who was telling me like, oh, the bed frame was just shaking because it's an old bed frame. I'm like, so why isn't it constantly shaking? Why is it like picking specific time periods to shake? It makes no sense to me. So I'm not saying that that was paranormal. I don't really know what that was. It could have been an earthquake for all I fucking know. But what I do know is not last year, maybe 2 years ago on the 4th of July, so maybe 2.5 years ago. I took my kid outside so she could see the fireworks. Of course, she was very little and did not like the loud noises, the bright lights, the smell of sulfur or whatever, or firework ash, whatever you want to call it. So she wanted to come in screaming and crying. I was like, all right, baby, come on. Which 4th of July to me is fucking cool. I like fireworks. It sucks growing up. I never like appreciated this stuff, but since I've been like a older adult, like I really think some of these holidays are really kick ass. And 4th of July in California is fucking lit. Sorry, Texas, you guys can't do shit right for holidays. But it's fucking crazy out here. Everyone's out there shooting fireworks off. The whole neighborhood is just like lit up like the 4th of July, like Christmas. So, we were coming in and there was a shadow cast on my door, the front door, once we got inside the house. I didn't think anything of it until I turned to my right to walk down the hall and my shadow was on the wall. And I was like, wait, what? And I looked at the front door and the shadow was gone. I was like, fucking how? So I was telling my grandma, and she's like, "Oh, it's probably your shadow." I was like, "But the light was casting my shadow to the right of me. There's nothing casting it in front of me. There would have had to been some kind of light source behind me, which there wasn't. So the fuck was that?" And I started thinking about it. I was like, "Oh man, it must have been Nick." Like, stop it. I don't like the paranormal shit. It's creepy to me. And some of these other times is back when I was getting high, like every Friday night, or like earlier this year. Now, I know somebody might say, "Oh, you're just paranoid." Well, here's the fucking thing. I had three fucking instances, and I know I could have just been really stoned. So take it if you want to believe it on a paranormal level, or if you want to just believe that I was being paranoid. I don't know. My nose is itchy. I'm sorry. Allergy season sucks. But I was really stoned, and I was in this corner. Well, like when I first moved my computer in my room, my computer was over here in this corner, and I was just like really stoned, smiling at the TV or smiling at my computer screen or whatever, and I heard somebody knock on my window like that, and I was like that, and I was just like, oh, what the fuck? So my stoned ass grabbed a taser and a pair of scissors, and I walked out like a cop, and I went out there like swinging the pair of scissors like I'm trying to stab something, and I was gonna tase and stab. That was my plan. Couldn't find anything, and I don't know what or why or whatever. I didn't see anything, and I was checking the gate and everything, and I was still stoned, but I was like more alert. And everyone's like, "Oh, you were just being paranoid." I'm like, "Bro, something dead ass fucking wrapped the window," and I think it was because I was stoned and I couldn't really ignore it. Like normally I would just have headset on, listen to music, but I can't really do that when I'm high. Like when I'm high, I'm like weird. So, and actually, that was the second time. The very first time I got high, I was trying to relax and watch ASMR because I watch ASMR like every night to help me chill the fuck out. And it was speaking demonic, and I was like, "What?" As I was like, "No, hold on, it must be like the buffer, or like the video's buffering or something." So like I rewinded the video back, and it was still doing it. And I just turned it off. I was like, "Bro, I can't, I can't fucking deal with this tonight." Of course, everyone's again saying, "Oh, you're just paranoid or whatever," and I'm like, I don't think I am. That's the thing. And the last time I got high in this house was, I don't know, like 5 months ago, 6 months ago. I got high and I was laying down in bed, getting ready to go to bed, and I heard the blinds above my head, like someone just ran their fingers down the blinds. My body fucking tensed up. I froze. I couldn't sleep. I had my eyes closed, but I wasn't really asleep. It sounded like somebody walking through my room, and then I heard my toilet flush in my bathroom right behind me, and I was like, "Bro, fucking stop! No, 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 no! I can't deal. I can't do it." And there was another time when I woke up in the middle of the night or I was going to work the next morning, I forget. And the kitchen water was running in the sink, and I was like, it wasn't me, dude, because I hadn't went in there. I didn't know what was going on, so I just turned it off and pretended like nothing happened. I'm getting creeped out talking about this shit right now because I'm home alone right now. No, fuck. And then the most recent time for anything that's happened is my daughter was in her room. And whenever my daughter's up and I'm on the computer, I have my headset like this, so I can hear her. And I don't, I mean, obviously I don't have the mic down or whatever, but I always have one earphone off so I can listen for her. And I could hear her in her room. She goes, "Hi, my name is Lorelai. What's your name?" And I fucking froze. I was like, "What the fuck?" And I just started listening, and I heard her. She kept talking, and I was like, "Who are you talking to?" So I got up and I kind of peeped in there. She wasn't talking. She was on her tablet watching her show. And I was like, no, 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 no. I told my aunt, or not my aunt, I told my sister, who is her aunt, and she's like, oh yeah, Lorelai does shit like that all the time. Like she kept pointing at the air vent one time when she was like 1, and my sister looked up and she saw like these fingers coming in through the air vent, and I was like, okay, look, I could go the rest of my life never hearing about this shit because kids are really young and they're not like controlled by their senses being disrupted by like TV, internet, all that shit, especially when they're really young. So they're more perceptive to things, I guess, is how the theory goes. And I was like, I don't want to know about this shit, so please quit. Everything else I just try to ignore. So I don't know. This is up. This is part two. So if there's ever a part three, if I can remember what details I'm missing on that one story that I couldn't remember, I might make a part three. But as of late, this is everything that's happened to me up to this point. Um, I don't know. It's me. I don't know. Merry Halloween. Story time.